Welcome back into the Roundball Report. Thanks for sticking with us. As promised, we're going to take you behind the scenes and inside of an event that maybe the average NBA fan doesn't even know exists. Well, the players in this area, at least, have an association for their moms. And this year, in the city at the Marquis Marriott in Washington, D.C., they had a fashion show honoring their moms. Check it out.
I'm here down at the Marriott Marquis in Washington, D.C. for the Mothers of Professional Basketball Players, Inc. 2018 National Conference and Fashion Show. We're going to get a chance to see some NBA moms, players, strut their stuff, and do their thing, so check it out. My distinct pleasure to have Roy Hibbert Sr. and Roy Hibbert Jr. We had Roy Hibbert Jr. on the show when he was 12 years old. He was only 6'8" then. Roy, talk about your mom and the efforts of all the moms to make this event a reality.
Well, you know, I'm not there on a daily basis to hear what was going on. My father was there, but I know that they put a lot of work into this, and it came out great. And I was very proud of my mother and all the rest of the mothers out there.
How'd you feel going out there, getting out of your comfort zone modeling?
That's a little bit more scarier than playing an NBA game, but I did it for my mom. I'm happy.
Mr. Hibbert, talk about what it's like to see your wife and all their efforts come to reality.
Well, you know, it's been a long 9 months. I mean, she's been at this ever since. I used to get sometimes a little bit upset because, I mean, she's always on the phone. All these mothers calling from all over the country. But, you know, it pays off because yesterday they paid utility bills for 500 people in the Ward 8 area. That is for the gas, electric, and water. And that was really great to see that. And, again, last night, the mayor of Washington, D.C., she was here last night, and, you know, she praised the moms and, of course, a couple of dads who were here. And it's an honor to work with them, you know, these mothers here. It's really an honor.
And now we're here with Wanda Durant, of course, the mother of Kevin Durant. Wanda, how special is it to have this event right here in the DMV?
It's extremely special to have it here at home for me and for some of the other mothers that live here and from here. And it's good to be here because there's no other group of mothers that know what we go through as mothers of professional athletes. So it's good for us to come together, to socialize, and then to get each other's energy and love and support. And so that's why it's great to have this event, and then for it to be here is even more special.
And of course, you and your son have always been involved in charity. Talk about some of the other things that you're doing to try to help the community.
You know, my son has donated to Prince George's County Public Schools to help with the college prep in the tech world. But my focus is primary school students and girls who are gone through some traumatic things, to kind of encourage them to do more and to not lose sight of who they are and their dreams. Just because of where you come from doesn't determine where you have to go. And so that's where I lend my support.
And lastly, what's the focus of this organization moving forward for next year's event?
Well, for next year's event, right now we're just kind of focused on completing out this year, and this year we're focusing on helping. Here we helped over 500 women with $200 towards their utilities in Ward 8 in Washington, D.C. Our initiative is to focus on the family, and so we're going to continue on that, and primarily that's what we do, is just focus on the families and the communities that we've come from.
Thanks so much for spending some time with us. Well, you got a chance to see a wonderful fundraiser. Special thanks to the chairs, Deborah Shaw Cole, Louise Jack, and Patty Hibbert for their hospitality and support. It was for a great cause, and we hope to cover it again in the future. Now back to the studio.
Thank you for that, Andrew. Down at the Marquis, getting some critical, crucial, fantastic interviews with some folks behind the scenes of what is a great organization doing really good things in our area. That put a smile on my face, Ty.
I know, there's nothing like motherly love. Like, there is nothing like it. I really enjoyed watching that.
I don't know if I enjoyed the moms modeling as much as I enjoyed Victor singing, for one, and then some of the other models in the event, but that's super cool. And I think the thing that we all forget when we're sitting at home watching these guys, or we hear about whatever their contracts are, it's almost like the old song, right? More money, more problems. And so, not that these guys have problems, but there is a certain level of responsibility that they now have. And I'm sure people are dinging on them for this and dinging on them for that. And it's a special community of high-paid athletes and their moms, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, definitely. And for the mothers, I can only imagine how hard it is, you know, trying to keep up with everything that's going on in their son's life. So to do something and to have their sons like involved in it, I think that's even more special.
That was really cool. Props to the association. I forgot what Mr. Andrew said, but the National Association of NBA Players' Moms, whatever you want to call it. Shout out to you guys. Congratulations on the success that your sons have had and the success that you're having. As we turn the page just a little bit to the WNBA overall, you think about this Seattle Storm team. They've got 3 league award winners.
Well deserved, though.
For sure, well deserved. Breanna Stewart is the league MVP, as we discussed. And I just think, Stewie, what do you say? I mean, I know Elena Delle Donne was in that conversation, but Stewie kind of gets the nod when you look at what her team was able to do in terms of their overall record. And then she was just kind of shooting phenomenal across the board. 21.8 points per game, 8.4 rebounds per game, 7th in block shots in the league. From the field, 52%, and then from 3, 41%. So she was just extremely efficient. I mean, do you think that we saw this coming from her?
Honestly, I did not.
Okay.
I'll be the first to say I slept.
Okay.
But I'm awake now. She woke me up. I just personally think that she's a phenomenal player. And this year, like, I got to see it more and more. Her versatility, like, I had a conversation with somebody a little while ago. I would kind of say she's kind of the KD to me personally of the WNBA because she can play so inside and out. She's going to come, you know, and shoot that pull-up 3 in your face. And she's like a stretch, you know.
Yeah, stretch everything. Stretch the floor.
Everything, literally, yeah.
That's funny. I know that she has definitely benefited a lot from playing with Sue Bird, who also picked up one of those league awards I mentioned. She is the Kim Perrot, who I loved, Sportsmanship Award winner. And Sue, we know she's the oldest player in the WNBA. She had that great, what is that character from the AMC cartoons, the granny on her shoe. We just know how proud she is of what she's been able to do with this Seattle Storm. And then on that team, you've got Natasha Howard, who is the most improved player in the league. And so 3 superlatives for the league-wide. I know we're rooting for the Mystics, but does it seem like Seattle may be a team of destiny?
Man, it would just be crazy if so. You know what I mean? Like the perfect story. And I haven't really, in my time, seen a season like just go so swiftly and nicely for a team. So I think, you know, it may just be their destiny.
Man, that would be cool. I loved what Sue Bird wrote in the Players Tribune talking about how she decided to stay with the organization as opposed to making a push to go and play with a title contender. And because the current MVP, Breanna Stewart, truly changed the trajectory of the Seattle Storm. And so here they are. I mean, it is something truly to marvel at. Dan Hughes has done a fantastic job. But I love the attention that women's basketball is getting, and certainly both of the teams, the Mystics and the Storm, deserve it. But what would you credit to kind of the rise in the attention that our sport is getting?
I would definitely say social media is a big part. You know, you see all these things, WNBA, 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 and then they're using their voices to promote it as well. You see it on their pages and stuff like that. Then it's going to be like, hey, I might want to, you know, tune into this game today, or, oh, man, that's a pretty cool statistic. Let me, you know, watch out for it. So I would say that's definitely something that's been great. And then I would say, you know, the type of foundations and the stuff that they do in order to make sure that their voices are heard as not only basketball players, but also women who stand up for something that is greater than basketball.
And I know the show is about basketball, Ty, but we're both former athletes, and I think the biggest thing happening in the sports world, other than the WNBA Finals at the time that we are taping this show, is the U.S. Open deal with Serena, right? And you mentioned how the athletes in the WNBA are not only using their platform to raise awareness about what the WNBA is doing, but they're supporting so many of their causes. Serena, arguably one of the most well-known athletes, period, barring being a woman, being an African-American woman out of the conversation. Things don't go so well in the U.S. Open, as we know. What sort of were your thoughts about it as an athlete? Let's just go big athlete. I know we're going outside of the basketball that we talk about on the Roundball Report, but the tennis ball is still round. So I just want to touch base with you on it.
Athlete or not, her character is just amazing to me. You know, because I feel like she gets so much stuff for everything. It literally everything, like her cat suit, so to speak. Like, why does it have to be such a big deal that she went out of her way to do something to protect herself? You know, I feel like when they say she disrespects the game of tennis, that is a disrespect to her.
I agree with
because
that.
she made tennis, if you ask me. This is the only tennis player who arguably I just sit and kind of watch, and I'm like, wow, this lady is amazing. So I would just like to say that she is holding it together really well, and she's also speaking up and having a voice for those, like she said, who may come after her, whose voices she wants to be heard.
Yeah. Ty, this one is tricky for me, and I'm glad that we're having this conversation. Forgive me, Mr. Andrew Dyer, our show's EP, when you look at this, if this doesn't fall in line, but tell me if you had this experience coming up, right? Like, we're taught there's a certain line when it comes to authority, like in life. But even on the basketball court, you don't get in a ref's face. You don't trip with a ref, right? And we were competitive athletes. I'm not sure that Serena handled that the best way. I think whether you agree or disagree, there's a way to go about it respectfully. And I understand the point that everybody's making in terms of what the men do and what the women do. But the way I was raised, what are you doing? And I don't know that it's okay to necessarily compare an apple and an apple as in terms of human beings in that instance. I think maybe she could have been more effective if she had gone about it a different way. My dad is a referee, so maybe I'm a little bit biased. They're humans as well, and so even when they're wrong, there's a way to do it that doesn't attack that position. It's a loaded conversation for me. Do I think that Serena has had to deal with a lot on behalf of tennis, on behalf of just being in the public's eye in the United States of America? Absolutely. But in that instance, I'm a little bit hesitant on how it all goes down.
Well, I think it's definitely going to be a bias, like you said, like more so like, am I pro Serena or am I pro tennis? For the people who don't really watch tennis all the time and they just specifically hone in on her and watch that, they're pro Serena, you know what I mean? So I want to say that yes, there is a way to go about things, and there is a right and a wrong way. And she let her emotions get the best of her, I will, say. But at the same time, it's just a bias.
There's definitely something to see on both sides of it. So I think it is a important conversation to have. I think what she did post-match in terms of making sure that the crowd switched gears to congratulate Naomi Osaka, who won her first ever Grand Slam, was very important.
I actually congratulate that effort a lot because I might have still been in my feelings a little bit, kind of just like, oh my goodness. But
it's so intense. I can only imagine. I mean, we're starting to see athletes, Serena, LeBron, not just athletes, even Beyonce, people who we look at in the public eye are showing that they're human, right? They're letting us into their world in a way that we have not had an opportunity to be in previous to this time in our, a time in America, or a time in our consumption in terms of those popular people. But we got a little bit off track. I hope you guys still enjoyed and appreciated that slight conversation. The Washington Mystics have 2 games with the Seattle Storm here in the D.C. area coming up this week. Hopefully they can even out the series because Game 5 will be back at Key Arena. Tykera, thanks for joining us. Hope you had a blast.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to see more of Ty. Where can the people check out your blog, though?
You can check out my blog on Weebly.com, Sportstalk with Ty at Weebly.com.
Sportstalk with Ty. Make sure you catch it, guys. That's going to do it for this edition of the Roundball Report. It was informative, action-packed, and you got to meet the newest member of our team. We're looking forward to seeing Ty work on behalf of the Roundball Report. I'm Monica McNutt, in for Andrew Dyer. For all you student athletes out there, remember that getting it done in the classroom is the first key to success on or off the field or court. That's going to do it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a great one.